Hi everyone, Kelly here. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. So glad you found me. If you have been here before, you guys know this is a place if you are interested in just playing, if you want to try different crafts, if you are an artist, you might learn a few tricks. But I just love what I do. I'm always playing, trying out new things. So this week, we're going to talk about a new paper that I came across. Thank you to Jenna Rainey. She recommended this one. I never bothered to look to see if they had watercolor paper. And I love arches, but I was looking for something a little less expensive, and she recommended this one by Legion Paper. It's Stonehenge, and it is 140-pound cold pressed paper, and it's made with cotton. It's 100% cotton. I love this because if you want to do a little bit of scrubbing, if you've worked with watercolors before, you may have noticed that sometimes if you're erasing a lot, or if you're working your paper very hard, or if you're using a lot of wet and wet, you'll get like this little texture, these little things in your paper, and you're trying to figure out where they come from. Well, it actually comes from the paper itself. It could be like a little bit of wood pulp. So they make it with wood pulp linen, rags. They used to call it rag paper back in the day. So this is 100% cotton, so you don't tend to have a lot of that wood texture that comes through. So it's a really good paper. I really like it. I'm going to show you today how I used it. It comes in a pad, so it's a watercolor pad, so you have to actually remove your painting once you're done with it, so it's stuck on the pad, which makes it quite nice because it won't buckle on you while you're working on it. It comes in all different sizes. This one happens to be a 9x12 I'm using today, but it's 140-pound, acid-free, 100% cotton, 15 sheets in the pad of paper. And I think in US, I want to say it was like $19 on Amazon, but I'll double check it for you, and I'll leave you the links down below. So this is what I'm going to show you how to paint today. Come a little closer for you. It is my little Zodiac sky. We did a lot of wet and wet with this, and I also used a little bit of gold in this one, so I'll show you how I did that. So anyway, stick around and I'll walk you through my process. Hi, I'm Kellie Chasse. I have full online classes and tutorials every month on my website at www.kellychassefineart.com. Alrighty guys, so let's start out with using my new pad paper by Legion. This is the Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press. And I have my glass of water here. I'm going to start out with just a circle. This is a wet circle, no paint. Although you can see that I've got a little purple in my dirty water here. I really should be using two glasses. Sometimes it's just so fun to be lazy though, isn't it? I figure it's going to be blue. You're not going to see it anyway. So I have my Artist Winsor Newton pan paints, and I'm going into a beautiful shade of blue. Now I did a video on all my blues because this is the month of March. We're actually doing blue in our art exploration group. So if you missed that video, you can check that out right here in the top right hand corner. And I cover all my blues that are in this watercolor kit. So I am just tapping this in. You can see how it just blooms everywhere here. Wherever there's water is where it's going to go. Now I had somebody mention to me that I posted this on Instagram, and they said that they had a really hard time with keeping a circle, and so did I. It's not an easy task. So she actually used masking fluid to make her perfect circle, which I think was a great idea. So if you have a hard time keeping it perfectly round, and if you don't care, that's fine too. But you could use the masking fluid if you wanted to. So I'm just dropping in all different color shades of of blue. And I think I had indigo here. I had cerulean blue. So I'm just dabbing it in and letting the paints go where they want to go. I don't know if you guys can hear the wind. We have, I think it's like 33-mile-an-hour gusts that we've got out here right now, and my windows are whistling behind me, and I'm actually shaking. I have like a little jet out upstairs where I sit, so it's like just all surrounded by windows, and I seriously am, the floor is shaking up here. It's just nuts. Hopefully I don't lose power. Did that last week. I'm so glad that winter's almost over, although we have these winds here at the lake house even in the summertime. It's absolutely nuts here. We just get that, I think it's that, is it northeast I'm facing? Northwest. Yeah, northwest winds, and they're so strong. When we get the nor'easters, I don't even feel it because it comes on the other side of the house from the back side. So we don't even know sometimes we're having a big nor'easter until you see all the snow. So I'm going in with some, get off the weather, going in with some darker shades. Now, how cool would this be as like a moon? I'm like looking at it. Like this would be really cool with all of those like yellows, and I'm going to be using some alcohol here in a second. We're going to drop some alcohol in here and we're going to watch this bloom. Check this out. So this looks like it could be great for like craters on the moon. See that? So I have this little dropper. I'll give you guys a link down below for the dropper too, in case you're interested. It's going to find needle point, so you don't have to release a whole lot of alcohol with it, so it works really well. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It like just dances in here. Love using alcohol with watercolors. It gets quite the reaction, especially with the wet and wet. So I'm just going to mop up this little bit over here. I have a little bit of a puddle. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm wiping it off on my tissue, and it soaks up some of that excess water and paint. Do you hear that whistling? There's my window. I don't know if it's going to capture it on the microphone. It's so funny. It's like, woo, woo. A little train back here. So now I've got my white gouache, and I am adding just a little bit of water to it, filling up my brush. I'm going to tap this in. Little bit of splatter goes a long way. Now this is all still very wet, so even the white is just dispersing in here. Again, it's still like this would be a really cool moon. I didn't really know where I was going with this. This is just kind of making this stuff up as I went along, and I felt it was like kind of Zodiac-ish looking. It reminded me of space a little bit, so I went with it. So you can see that this is still moving. If I tilt this up, you can see that paint's just pouring down. That white is just softening in, so you don't see quite as much of the splatter. It's just lighting some of those blues up now. Almost looks like a yin and yang symbol. So I'm going, but I'm going to go back in with more alcohol. Sounds like I've been drinking alcohol. I haven't, I promise you. I've been drinking coffee. Actually, it's called Caffex because I stopped drinking caffeine for a while. Yep. See if that helps with my hot flashes. You guys have hot flashes? Where there's smoke, there's fire. You women over 50, come on, let me know. You know it's happening, unfortunately. So sorry, I feel for you, I do. All right, so I'm just letting that continue to drip and dribble down here. Again, remember when you're using watercolor, the paints are only gonna go where the water goes. Unless you have a little bit too much water, then it can run outside that area. So I just lied. Don't have too much water, and just be careful how far you tip it. So I'm going to use my heat gun because I've got it plugged right in here. I'm going to use for a blow dryer. I love this little heat gun. I've been using this a lot lately. It does a really quick job. Okay, so I've got that all dry. I'm going to go back in with that white again to make some more splatters because the other ones just really went away. Go a little heavier. Now, because I'm using white, I'm not worried about getting it anywhere else. So I didn't even put a tissue down to cover up the other area. So now I have grabbed, I figured I just want a little gold. I love blue and gold together. So I've got my paint pen by Krylon, and this gold is really pretty. I've used this quite a few times even in some of my classes, and I love to do it with a little mixed media. And I'm just following some of those circles, making little funny shapes. This is where I got the Zodiac thing. It's not officially a Zodiac symbol of any sort, which would be cool. I should do I'm Taurus. My birthday's coming up here. I should do like a little Taurus symbol. That would be neat. I think everything's neat. I have so many ideas. I wake up in the middle of the night and have to like type them up on my phone, which is really bad. You should never leave your phone beside your bed at night. You already don't sleep, and it makes it worse. But I do put it on silence. I do that. Little nighttime, little moon thing on my iPhone. So I am just connecting some of these little squiggles. Again, this is so much fun, and I recommend this, you guys. If you don't do enough of this creative stuff, if you're constantly creating art and it has to look like something all the time, and you have a type A personality, this is really tough for you to do, I know, but it is so freeing because you're just not thinking about what you're doing. You're just really just watching the color, watching the lines, and just having fun. And it's a really great place to get your mind, especially if you want to de-stress. And creativity and art is such a wonderful de-stressor if you use it correctly. If you're trying to do some really realistic paintings, you're going to go the opposite way. But if you're going to go and just have some fun and just play with color, repeating patterns, things like that, it's a really fun thing to do. So I decided I'm going to put some trees in here, almost like I'm looking up at a night sky. So I've got my gouache out again. This is the black gouache, so it's really dark and rich. I think I'm going to put just like a little, it's like a landscape down here, or maybe rocks, just a little something on this on the edge here, so you can see that it's some type of land that the trees are coming up from. And you'll notice it's kind of neat with the gold paint pen. As I paint over this, the gouache does not, what do I want to say? It doesn't stay on the paint pen. It's an acrylic, I think it's acrylic paint pen. I'll have to check that out, but I'll list that for you down below too, the gold paint pen. What's that word I'm looking for when something resists? Yes, I'm always looking for a word. So resist, that is the word I'm looking for. So you can see that that paint doesn't stick to it. It resists it. You could use a crayon. Crayons do that too, but especially if you use like a white crayon or you can't really see, it will just give you that resistance from the color, which is kind of a neat thing to do. So I thought that was really, really fun. So I see some of the trees coming up through here. Let's bring this around, trying to reshape. I'm off my circle here a little bit. Let's go ahead and put a little branch up at the top here. So these are kind of angling in, so almost like I'm looking up from the ground, staring up at the trees. I could do that right now if there wasn't a big snowbank out there. It's cold. Although it was 50 degrees the other day. It's going to be warmer though. It's coming. And I'll be back out on the boat. My kayak, not a motorboat. We don't do well with motors. I'm really chatty today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I apologize. Usually I'm people always say I'm very calm when I talk. Not so much today. I think I got spring fever maybe. So just shaping that in. Back to the painting, Kelly. I'm going to put some little tips of those trees in here. I also have a video on really easy trees, so if you guys want to check out the YouTube video of trees, I think I have it in watercolor, so that just to give you an idea of how to make these trees and how I do it. So then I decided I'm going to switch to my little micro brush that I got recently, so I could get a really fine brush. These are really very fine line, and these brushes are really great for those little small details. I've been using them quite a bit. So I'm just filling in some of those little areas in through there. And another little fine one over here. I could see I do have a few little white spots, which looks neat as well. Where I think that's where the white gouache went. So if you want to check out the video too on the micro brushes, I have a video on that too. I'm pretty much going to have a video on everything by the time I'm done. I think I have now, 180 videos, which I've been doing this for quite a few years. My first YouTube video was actually 6 years ago, and it was a watercolor, I think. I'll see if I can find that one for you. Oh, it was with a saran wrap. That's what it was. And I've just been steadily growing. I think we hit 12,000 subscribers. Maybe one day we'll hit that 100,000 mark. If I can go that long. Oh, if you guys are hanging with me, I'll do it. I love hearing from you guys. It's so much fun. It's still really hard to believe that I have had over a 500,000 folks just watching my channel by minutes. It's ridiculous. Which it's ridiculous in a good way. So I'm going to put in a few little stars up in my sky, a little bit more detailed. Again, with that gouache and that really small brush. Again, look how fine those little lines get. I haven't not done a pet portrait yet with this. I'm waiting for a good picture. I've been working on people lately, trying to work on people. That's fun too. It's hard though, I will say. So thanks so much for watching, and for next week I have a surprise for you guys. I am going to be interviewing the inventor of unicorn spit. Her name is Michelle, and she's going to tell us all about how she got started, and this stuff is incredible, so I can't wait to share it with you next week. So come on back next week at 9 a.m. and hopefully Michelle will be on live with us, so she'll be able to chat. So I'm going to set this up as a premiere video for you guys. Make sure you hit that little button that I think it's the notification button. I think that's what it's called. Not really sure. Can't remember. But you click on something and it will tell you. It'll send you an email anyway when it's going to go live. So you'll get a little email right beforehand so you don't miss it live and you can chat with us. Okay. So what do you guys think? This was kind of fun, huh? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm still putting in more stars. I can't stop. So make sure you click that like and share button, you guys. That really helps me with my channel and my algorithms. And we'll see you guys next week. Stay creative. Bye-bye.